is Mark Wireman. I'm a practice director for security services with OpenSky. That's a subsidiary of TUV Rhineland. We provide professional services for an array of security type services and security capabilities, from risk assessments and risk mitigation to infrastructure capabilities, as well as technical project management and governance, risk, and compliance. Today it's extremely important because of the concept of Industry 4.0 and the advent of cloud computing, or better known as mobile computing, because in a traditional sense, organizations have relied on their infrastructure to help protect against security threats and to help mitigate against those potential threats. What's happening with the concept of Industry 4.0 mobile computing is that now those assets that the company has worked hard to protect through what they call a castle defense system, that layered approach now is actually being broken and breached, and the organization's critical assets of that data is now being pushed out into the global landscape. So they can no longer rely on just the infrastructure components to help protect them against the threat landscape. So those applications now really become that core component that has to now kind of essentially be that castle for their defense against all these potential attacks and potential compromise of the organization's assets. The biggest threats are really coming more in the cyber landscape, so the cyber terrorists, the cyber threats, critical infrastructure. Very concerning about what's going on in critical infrastructure. I was at a conference in Houston. It's called the OTC, Offshore Technology Conference. And the technology that's being used in the critical infrastructure, oil, gas, the electric side of the industry, is absolutely phenomenal. The way that they, from a pure logistics perspective, how they can utilize wireless and other type of related technologies to literally track the movement of all pieces of equipment that's associated with a deep sea oil rig, for example, deep sea oil well, and also the output of those devices, and literally the amount of data that's being collected from a technical perspective and being transmitted back to these various command and control centers is also very concerning and leaves a significant hole from a security perspective. And it really leaves these types of companies vulnerable to attacks by particularly cyber terrorists, who obviously want to try and capitalize on these weaknesses to provide some kind of chaos and basically scare people into submission, so to speak. So I see that as one of the next big frontiers from an attack perspective. So we're still seeing these big organizations that are becoming continue to be susceptible to compromise. And so I think we're still going to see that attack continuing today and tomorrow until these big organizations really look at security seriously, instead of looking at it as something that they can just pay a fine and it's the cost of doing business. They really have to start taking it very seriously and addressing these security concerns at the root level and not waiting until a breach actually happens before they take security seriously.